There's something rapidly changing between the relationship between India and Japan. Just last year, Japan and India entered into an MOU where they are now looking at having 500,000 people move between these two countries for jobs, for business opportunities, and a lot more. And having worked with Japanese companies in the past, I know how difficult it can get to get meetings with these guys, to actually convince them to do business with you and to build a relationship. Now, to ease this for everyone else who's looking at this massive opportunity right now, today I have with me in the room Tom, who's a Japanese gentleman who's been in India for the past 14 years. He built a startup in India, raised Japanese funding from investors, also got acquired. And I think he's absolutely the perfect person to answer all questions around how Indians today could look at cracking the Japanese market, looking at jobs, looking at business partnerships, JV partners, and really scaling their business internationally. So stick around. Sometime in 2025, I think India and Japan entered into a skills transfer agreement or an MOU of sorts. Japan would be taking close to 500,000, people from India, or maybe this is the total number of transfer of labor between these two countries. Now that this is being brought into place, what kind of skills that Indians have should they focus on going to Japan, where there is not enough labor in Japan?
When we talk about the blue collar, then hospitality sectors, food, F&B, they require a lot of skilled people, especially given, as I said, a lot of tourists are coming into the market, to the country. Or hotels need the people, especially English-speaking.
Oh, they need English-speaking
They
people?
need English-speaking people. And the other one is construction site, where you need a lot of workers, given the aging populations. Senior care home is another sector. When we talk about white collar, IT professionals, because perception is that Indian talent very skilled in ITs,
Oh, wow.
cyber
Really?
securities, AIs, software development, all kinds. But also, I would say, because the Japanese companies are stepping into Indian market, and Japanese are not equipped to understand the market as well as managing the businesses. Many companies are looking for Indian business leaders to come to Japan and work together. They want them to lead the Indian business, not only Indian businesses, but also a global businesses.
So imagine someone's really liked one of these categories. Where can they meet these businesses? Is there like a channel to meet them? Does Jetro organize events, or should they go to expos?
Yeah, so there are official vehicles like Jetro you mentioned, which organizes many events. Even together with the embassies, they host some events to do the matchmaking. Those are one opportunities. But again, don't think of this as only occasions. You have to go to many different places.
If I may,
yeah.
a lot of people know of the fact that most countries which are trying to build these trade relationships, their embassies organize events and they do all of these activities. But what is the way to get into the mailing list of these institutions? Like, I have personally written to Jetro on email a number of times, and I've not gotten a response, because maybe what I'm doing is I'm looking at their email on the website, and then when I try and search for people on Jetro on LinkedIn, I'm not really finding the right connect. So is there a hack to kind of crack the embassy in some way?
I think direct approach won't work. For your specific industries, you may know some companies. Start from there. Start from relevant people, and then stick around. Then you can open the door.
Got it.
To
So
much bigger
emailing and stuff won't
opportunities.
help.
Won't help.
Try and find someone in your network who could be an Indian who knows someone who's Japanese in your
Exactly.
industry,
That's the starting point.
ask them to make a warm connect,
Exactly. Exactly.
meet a bunch of times, host them for dinner,
Exactly.
build a
Multiple
relationship.
times. Multiple times. It takes time, but it gives you something
Yeah.
afterwards.
You know, something interesting I've observed in terms of digitally meeting companies for business is LinkedIn is a platform I feel that when you write about doing business with a particular country, so as an Indian, I've written a fair bit about doing business with Saudi. And whenever I put out any such post on LinkedIn, I suddenly see a number of people from Saudi reaching out to me saying that we're looking for a finance professional, we're looking for someone who could advise on this merger or an acquisition. Can you please come in and kind of help us? And even though there was no mutual connect, but the algorithm pushed my content to them,
Yep.
they happened to see
Yep.
it, and that has started off a lot of conversations.
Yep.
If I had to find a way to structure digital serendipity,
Yep. Yep.
is there a right platform or manner for me to build a digital relationship that could lead to something?
LinkedIn in Japan is not as popular as other part of the world.
Okay.
Of course, someone who is working for multinational companies or who are doing overseas business are more likely to use a LinkedIn. But if you talk about traditional companies or SMEs, people working in SMEs or traditional industries, mainly for the domestic market, people are not using LinkedIn, but rather people are using Facebook, even for the business communications.
Really?
Because again, the relationship starts from personal relationship or casual relationship, and then
they can
it
see your
really gradually
connects.
evolve into the businesses. So the distinction between business and the personal relationship is kind of overlapping. Some of the younger generation, Twitter or X, is the a kind of good media to be connected.
Not Instagram?
Not much for the business case. Yes, people are using a lot of people are using Instagram for the hobbies and all, but not for the business. There is another platform called Wantedly,
Wantedly. Okay.
which is more of social business network where you focus more, not necessarily on your career path, but more of your thought process, your philosophy, what you like to do in a business, and then try to match the people.
Very interesting.
So
Can I, as an Indian, look it up? Is it
you can
translated
look
into
at
English?
you can use AI to translate everything.
Wonderful. Now, with your experience of having built a company um, in India, raised funding from Japanese investors for the India market, and your company also got acquired, right? So
Yeah.
you've actually seen a big journey of what has happened in building a business in India as a Japanese person. And today, suddenly, I see in 2026, for the past few months, there has been a lot of conversation around that this is the time for India and Japan to kind of deepen their relationship. And I think the governments have signed certain MOUs to take the relationship forward in terms of free transferability of labor of some sort, more technical collaborations. So, what do you think has changed in 2026 where a lot of this action is happening?
The Japanese companies used to go to overseas, and especially in China, there are a heavy concentration of the businesses and the manufacturing base there. Since there is a growing concerns on the concentrations, the companies started looking for the China plus one, obviously. Okay. And some companies are going to Vietnam, Indonesia, but more importantly, as a market, India has huge opportunities. In fact, there's a research done by JETRO, which is a Japan External Trade Organization. This is an agency of the government to promote the overseas business. And then they asked all these Japanese companies overseas, which countries that you really want to go next. India by far is the top choice.
Oh, wow.
And China, by the way, as of now, is only 20%.
But why? What is exciting the Japanese about India?
So again, China plus one story. is one thing. And also, if you look at the global market, B2B as well as especially B2C players as well, number of the population matters in the long run. And if you ask all these companies coming into India market, would they be interested in 1-2 years business? No, because they know that going to the emerging market, it always takes a lot of time.
So maybe for Indian entrepreneurs, the opportunity right now is identify brands like Uniqlo, Muji, but across categories. Think food, think fashion, think footwear, and bring them into India.
Yeah.
Or do you think there are other partnerships? Like, how do you look at the landscape of doing business with Japan right now?
So there are already 1,400 Japanese companies operating here. And you can easily imagine manufacturing, especially automobile, is the biggest sectors for the Japanese company. A lot of automobile parts companies are coming into the market. Also these days, semiconductor-related companies are coming into the market. This has been the trend, especially after COVID. I could see a lot of visitors coming into India to do the market research.
So if someone from India had to say in 2 steps, first look at categories where they should go and meet Japanese businesses. The second step we'll come to is how do you find these companies? How do you build a relationship with them? So what are some hacks in saying to show that you are invested and you want to build something long term?
I can think of many, and if we talk about the consumer products, then there are a lot of the brand. So one could be eyewear. There is a place called the Sabae, which is very popular, well known for the eyewear craftsmanship. The other could be denim. The area that is very popular is called the Kurashiki. Kurashiki.
Very interesting you say this. A number of brands in India. There's one called March Tea. There's another called Craft and Glory. So a lot of these brands which are doing high quality clothing and apparel, they're actually bringing Japanese salvage denims into India. So they're saying we're going to use the same kind of fabric or textile or weave, which is high quality. So it doesn't have the fade that you see typically on a Levi's. It's a very monochromatic, like one color, but it's meant to last almost 10 years or so. And I think brands are doing it. So maybe a bunch of brands from Japan could be brought into India.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Other than that, I would think of fishing rod, sports equipment, which are still niche for the typical mass market. So those are some of the interesting areas.
Yeah. So these areas would also require a lot of, I think, market education, because fishing is not really a hobby that a lot of Indians are into. But if you kind of develop it, you build it, quite like pickleball just took off.
Yeah, exactly.
Or golf took off at one point.
Exactly.
It could be the next big thing. Is there some Japanese food that you think could do really well in India?
Yeah, so I used to do a food business, and I know quite well about this topic. There's another survey asking Indians what Japanese cuisine you know, and by far sushi comes first.
Yeah.
I think it was around 60-70% people know about sushi at least.
Correct.
Then comes to ramen, which is around 15 to 20%.
Oh, that's
it.
But
and
ramen is so big right now. Or is it Korean ramen? And
it is emerging, but if you talk to the general audience, it's like that. And then rest, we have a lot of things like tempura, which is pakora, Japanese pakora.
Correct.
Or chicken skewers. It's called yakitori. Yakitori. So there's the place called the izakaya, which is kind of a drinking pub in English term. That is, I feel, have a lot of potential. There are several restaurants doing that in India already, expanding to multiple cities. Those places are becoming very vibrant.
So beyond, say, consumer brands, are there other industries which are more B2B in nature, where you think there could be potential partnerships between Indians and Japanese?
I have seen a lot of automobile cases and manufacturing sectors. Semiconductor can be one. Precision mechanics would be one. Agriculture related is one. Infrastructure related is one. Food industry related companies looking for Indian market. Let's say packaging technologies or their food processing technologies.
Okay.
And also in terms of packaged food, there are a category called food for a particular health benefit. Concept itself can be brought in
Okay.
together with the food processing technologies.
Okay.
for
So
the
is it
Japanese
similar
market.
to say how we have Ayurveda in India?
Kind of.
Would you say it's that?
Yes. Yes.
And what is the term, Japanese term for it if someone had to look it up?
Tokuho in Japanese.
Tokuho.
Tokuho.
You know, traditionally or the general perception is that Japan as a country has historically been very close to foreigners coming in, taking up jobs because they kind of want to maintain their cultural strength and unity, and they don't want that getting diluted with what's happening with, say, a bunch of European countries
Yeah.
right now. So I think there is that perception that people have that even if I invest all this time in taking up a job in Japan, we don't know if the policy tomorrow is going to change, and we may have to go back, and all our career growth would get stalled, and we would have to start afresh. Do you think those concerns kind of remain, or culturally, Japanese people are getting more open to having Indians within themselves?
I think it is coming to the point that the country has to accommodate these professionals and skilled workers from the other part of the world. Not necessarily India only, but other part of the world. And that's why the government decided to create a special visa categories called a specified skilled worker visa. The visa officially positioned as a skilled workers or skilled professionals. It used to be only a trainee visa where you can come and work, but within a certain period of time, you have to go back to the countries. Now with this visa, with certain language requirement and professional requirement, you are open to stay longer and even for the permanent residency as well.
Okay.
So that the fundamental shift has been there.
And how is the pay for labor different? Would you have any color? Like, do you think there's a multiple of a difference typically to say that if you earn 100 in India, the market would pay you about 150, 200 in Japan?
I
Is it
would
similar?
say 2 times, 3 times
Two to three times?
general. But that's also depending on the currency rate. That now the Japanese yen is depreciating, so you might not get that much compared to before.
Okay.
But still, there is a good decent gap here.
But is the cost of living also equally in multiple?
Cost of living not as much as 2 times, 3 times, I would say, in general, because of this past 30 years of deflation.
Yeah.
The cost of living is, has been getting cheaper and cheaper.
Oh, so there's actually like a labor arbitrage to say that if you're an Indian who gets a job in a Japanese company, you essentially get to earn, say, 2, 3 times of your Indian pay, but your cost of living is not necessarily twice.
Yes.
So your savings could be much higher in Japan.
Yes.
Oh, wow. And what are taxes like for people then?
Income tax is almost the same
As
as an Indian.
Wonderful. So if someone has to find these opportunities online, are there any websites? For example, in India, there's Naukri.com, which is a jobs listing platform. What are these platforms in Japan that people should scout and look for jobs on?
Daijō can be the first destination to check. If you're IT engineers, then Japan Dev or Tokyo Dev can be options. And another one that I know is Wantedly. You can find the opportunity for multiple industries. Also, I would suggest Japanese language centers in India, which are associating with those companies helping you to get a job in Japan. What you would do is to pass the minimum Japanese language, and then you apply for the job. And the entire process is supported by these companies.
In fact, there's a company that has come up in India, I think, a couple of years ago. It's called Border Plus.
Border Plus, yes.
And their entire focus is uh, train paramedics and healthcare professionals. So think a lot of nurses, lab technicians from India. Give them some bit of language training, and I think they're actively working for the German market. So train these nurses, give them some bit of German training, get them German certifications, and then also connect them to say healthcare setups in Germany and send them there. And it's a very similar, say, um salary arbitrage in terms of multiple. But of course, in Germany, the cost of living is much higher compared to India. So I think that way Japan becomes another opportunity where if someone says that I'm going to start a Japanese learning school,
Exactly.
and then connect them to Japanese companies.
Exactly. Yeah. So some of the large companies are coming into this India market to start the similar businesses. Some of them are focusing on nursing care houses. Some of them are focusing on hospitality sectors. Some of them are focusing on construction or even truck drivers.
Okay.
So you can find opportunities there. If you are white collar professionals, there are headhunters as well.
You know, now that you've experienced business in India for over a decade, do you think there are some lessons from how Japanese companies work which you don't see in India that you think should definitely be brought in?
When you meet a new partner, you tend to think how to maximize this deal within a short span of time, either profitabilities or size of the business in 5 years frame, let's say. But then the counter side would think, it's not just one meeting. This is the starting point of entire relationship. So even the initial speed is very slow. Eventually, let's mutually work for the bigger something in the long term.
Interesting. You said 5 years is short term.
5 years very short.
Oh wow! I was thinking maybe like 6 months to 1 year is short, but 5.
No. Indian organization in general is a promoter or top-down organizations. Japanese is bottom-up, which means it's a consensus building. So before deciding anything, it's not like a leader decide and then everyone follows. It's that everyone, all the stakeholders within the organization are aligned. To align the stakeholders, it takes a lot of time. Meetings, information sharings. And once everyone's comfortable, it's good to go. This type of consensus building is in general true, especially in large organizations.
So the learning would be don't be impatient in pitching to the Japanese,
Yes.
even if it takes a year
Yes.
and nothing has happened.
Yes.
There's a lot moving beneath the surface that you're not seeing. So
Exactly.
keep going and you
Keep
will see
going.
someday it'll convert.
That's correct.
So imagine I have gotten a referral or a connect to someone who's Japanese, and now I'm trying to build a relationship. Are there certain cultural gifts am I expected to take? What are things that you should not give to a Japanese?
You should not bring two unique things. You should bring something that people might expect, which is Indian tea is very popular. Too ethnic thing might be a challenging
Yeah.
for in a business context. The Japanese give not only the content or ingredients, but the packaging or design is so important.
So if you're gifting to the Japanese, the packaging needs to be impeccable.
Packaging needs to be perfect. I would further suggest, I noticed a lot of new age D2C brand are coming up in India, and which are well designed and the quality is super good. Chocolate, I would say, is one of them. Coffee, a lot of good brands coming up.
Yeah.
Some of the sachet type
Yeah.
would be also great gift
Okay.
for Japanese audience.
So something that wouldn't require cultural education.
Yes.
Nothing ethnic.
Yeah,
Take something international, but within Indian origin or Indian story.
exactly.
Is it okay to give, like I know, in India how the Ganesha statue is something which people internationally understand as a god of good luck. And when you're taking something for someone's office, you're like, I've got you this little statue which brings good luck. Would it be inappropriate to gift such a thing?
Once you build a relationship, once you mutually understanding cultures and background,
Okay.
and once you mutually achieve something, then it is very meaningful and people really appreciate. We do the same. We don't bring some Japanese cultural auspicious items to Indian partners at the beginning. But once you build a relationship, and once there's occasions to mutually celebrate, then we would bring those to gift someone.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tom. This is very helpful. And I must add, having worked with Japanese companies in the past, I've still found it difficult to crack my way into more Japanese companies. And I would hope it's not because of uh, my quality of service that they've not seen value. I think it's more a function of I've never been very patient with pursuing a lot of these opportunities much deeply, because typically as Indians, especially young entrepreneurs, you feel if
Yeah,
it's not
exactly.
moving, just move on to something else and don't waste your time here. I think that is a perception shift we'll really have to bring about in anyone who wants to do business with Japan. So
Yeah.
that's been a massive, massive takeaway. So thank you for making the time.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.